It's also the text line here on KCMO Talk Radio. Pete, where are Taylor's carbon tax credits going? What's done with that money? Now, that's getting deep down there. I don't know right now. We'll have to figure that out. I'm sure they'll go after that at some point here when Taylor's private jet from Tokyo to Vegas gets even more scrutiny over the days ahead. John's in Topeka. He's on KCMO. What's up, John? Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. If Taylor Swift was really smart, she would steal a play from Michael Jordan's playbook. And he said, I want to sell shoes to everyone. That's why no one knows my political affiliation. So she wants to sell records and songs and concert tickets to everyone. She should just say, it's my own personal belief and bow out of it gracefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the famous Jordan quote, Republicans buy sneakers too, right?
Exactly. And yeah, that's a fact. And another thing, Pete, is that I love that last night Nikki Haley lost to none of the above.
Yeah, I did see that in the Nevada primary. Weird deal out there in Nevada, John. But yeah, Trump wasn't on the ballot. She was, but it didn't even count yesterday. It's kind of a weird, convoluted deal out there. But yeah, by the way, in the mail, I got my primary thing yesterday from the Johnson County Election Office because Kansas has its presidential primaries coming up here in just over a month. Now, it's not going to matter, but I was like, oh, yeah, I guess we do have to go to the polls in a month, more or less, and potentially put that thing over the top. But, yes, Nikki Haley did lose to none of the above last night. And I think every celebrity should take the approach of Michael Jordan. Apolitical guy, Republicans buy sneakers too, famous line from him going back decades. And no one's had more success and fewer more beloved in American culture than Michael Jordan and the Jordan brand. And that is not a coincidence that he also just stayed out of the political arena. And Taylor's got this thing humming right now. There is no point in her going down that road. But it's really, so like, that's why so many who are self-proclaimed conservatives are freaking out about this for all the wrong reasons with Taylor. The way to really look at this is that the Biden team is so desperate, they're looking for Taylor to bail them out 10 months before an election. They know that Joe is so unappealing to the young voter for a multitude of reasons that they're sitting here in January, February with an election 10 months away, hoping that Taylor Swift is their savior. It's actually very pathetic. And they're trying to use their allies in the media to pressure her to do something on behalf of them. Instead of freaking out about it and diving into some rabbit hole about it, just look at it for how pathetic it is. And it's incredibly pathetic. And there is very little reason to suggest there's any fear that should be associated with it, by the way. Because we saw last fall, she had, 35,000 people registered to vote out of her 250 million Instagram followers? That's nothing in a country of 330 million people. It's absolutely nothing. And to reiterate how we started this hour, on Friday, there is a UK TV company, ITV, that is flying here to Kansas City, coming into the studio at 7:30 on Friday to hear from you, hear from our callers, and hear from this show on the whole Taylor Swift, Joe Biden, Travis Kelce topic. So that's going to, and these things are going to air, by the way. They're going to air on the largest commercial broadcast television station in the UK. They are flying to Kansas City. They reached out to me yesterday, and they insisted on coming out here on Friday morning. So I'm like, sure, you want to spend the money. It's not my dough. Be my guest. Eddie's in St. Louis. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, so I'm sure everybody's concerned about Taylor Swift's safety. So would they rather, in order to save the environment, come over on a electric-powered airplane or a rowboat or a sailing ship, So,
maybe she could take one of the rowboats with Greta Thunberg or something,
How dare you?
Maybe they can do that together.
Well, at least she would, I don't know if she'd be safe, but she wouldn't be destroying the environment. So, anyway, throw that in there to think about.
Yeah, here's the thing. If she does that with Greta, Eddie, good point. She'd be here in time for Super Bowl 59. She'd miss Super Bowl 58. Oh, all right. Let's go down to Oklahoma. Hot mic moments. Oklahoma man was awarded $25 million in damages after a jury concluded the state's largest newspaper, the Oklahoman, intentionally harmed him when it wrongfully identified him as a high school sports announcer who hurled racist remarks at players. Now, as someone who's called high school athletics down in the state of Oklahoma and in Texas and in southwest Kansas, that hot mic moment, no, never of this magnitude because no one should say what this broadcaster said, but hot mic moments can happen because, you're dealing with rookie board operators back in the studios in small towns at small radio stations. But it's kind of the age-old broadcasting attitude anyway. Don't say something anywhere near a microphone you wouldn't say on the air. Right, John? Right, Mark?
Touché.
Don't do it. I don't care where you are. If you're calling a high school basketball game in Norman, Oklahoma, or, you're setting to go on Fox News, if you wouldn't say it on the air, don't say it near a microphone because you never know where it's on. But here's the story. This guy, Scott Sepulpa, was one of two announcers commentating in March of 2021, girls' playoff game between Midwest City High and Norman High. And it made national headlines when the Norman team took a knee. And the other commentator, not this guy Scott, but his partner Matt, went on a tirade against the girls for kneeling. He said, they're kneeling. He said, I hope they get their bleeps kicked. He said, bleep them. And then he did drop the worst racial slur you can drop when referring to young black girls who were kneeling for the national anthem. Heinous. You can't say that. However, here's what happened. The Oklahoman wrote this story, and they said it was this guy, Scott, who made those comments. But it wasn't Scott. It was the other commentator, Matt, who made the comments. So the Oklahoman writes the story, and they say this guy, Scott, made these comments on this hot mic moment. Well, it wasn't him. It was the other guy. And on Monday, a jury agreed with Scott, who sued for alleged defamation and infliction of emotional distress, claiming he suffered lasting damage as a result of the misidentification by the Oklahoman, even though his name was only attached to the online article for less than 3 hours. A jury agreed with Scott and ordered Gannett, the parent company of the Oklahoman, they own USA Today, to pay $5 million in actual damages and another $20 million in punitive damages. Now, I'm all about going after media if they lie about you, but I do think intent matters. And with all due respect, $25 million to a high school broadcaster no one's ever heard of, no one knows, and was not done with malice. I understand that, media has made enormous mistakes in jumping to conclusions on people who they claim are racist who actually aren't, right? We've dealt with that on the national level. We've dealt with that on local levels as well. So, we all understand that. But, man, 25 mil, please. So Gannett's going to appeal this. As much as I think this guy deserves something, that is, a ludicrous settlement for a high school broadcaster no one could pick out of a lineup if their life depended on it. But I am glad that media is being held a little more accountable, just not to the tune of $25 million, because then innocent people are probably going to get laid off from the company because of that. News coming up here in 2 minutes. Next hour, Patrick Toohey is going to be joining us on KCMO. It is What If Wednesday as well. And a former Kansas City talk show host will be here as well. All on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.